Mike Piggott, Jane Kingseed, Angela Buchman with weather, and Rex Trautman sports. This is Lafayette Live, TV 18 News at 6.
Good evening, everyone. On this election day, well, voter turnout is high, at least in some Tippecanoe County precincts.
Wabash 1 reported turnout at 55% by 4 o'clock this afternoon. They say it's the highest participation ever. At Temple Israel, Wabash 27 was reporting 72% voter turnout at 4 p.m. They expect to reach 80% by the time the polls close. And Wabash 27 has the largest number of people registered in Tippecanoe County. Most of the polls in Indiana are closed, and they're among the first in the nation to close.
In fact, the polls are still open in the northwestern corner of the state, where the counties are on Chicago time. But with most of the polls closed, the first network projection should be coming out. And if it's not too close, CBS may indeed be ready to make the call on the state of Indiana. And so we're going to begin our newscast by going to New York and Dan Rather at CBS Election Headquarters.
Campaign 96 update. I'm Dan Rather. Polls have just closed in Indiana and Kentucky. Our CBS News election survey indicates both states too close to call. There's one Senate race in Kentucky, and there our CBS News estimate is, when all the votes are in and counted, that Republican Senator Mitch McConnell will have gotten a third term. That will be a hold-on for the Republicans. Now, back to the presidential race. Since 1964, Kentucky has never backed a loser in the presidential race. Now, President Clinton's campaign against tobacco has obviously hurt him in Kentucky. Has it hurt him enough to lose the state? We do not yet know. As for Indiana, it hasn't voted for a Democrat since 1964, and tonight, in both states, Kentucky and Indiana, the race for president is too close to call. As for the rest of the country, you can report to you that voters leaving the polls have generally expressed satisfaction with the economy and with the general direction of the country. In the past, this has been a good sign for incumbents such as Clinton and Gore. Also tonight, can the Republicans retain control of Congress? Most especially does Newt Gingrich remain Speaker of the House? Those are questions we won't be able to answer until later tonight. We'll have more, including more returns, on the CBS Evening News and later on our election night coverage that begins in less than an hour. Dan Rather at CBS News Election Headquarters in New York. I'll see you again soon.
And there's some news right there, because typically the state of Indiana is the first one to go up on a presidential election year for the Republican, and it hasn't happened yet, indicating maybe a complete different way of turning out in this election. We'll
Certainly
find
a
out.
close one.
We'll know as the day progresses.
Well, the voting is over. Now the waiting begins.
Sue Scott is at the Tippecanoe County Courthouse waiting for the first results. Campaign is over. Sue, tell us what's going on down there.
Well, Mike and Jane, the campaign is over, and now the hard part begins. Voters have made their decisions, and now we have to wait and see who be the next president, governor, or county commissioner. It's been a very busy day for election workers, and they're thinking that 96 could be one for the record books. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, Don.
Nice day to vote. Hi, folks.
We opened the doors, and they were waiting. We had about 10:15 in line, and we had a line until around 9:30 that we had to call for a new machine and new private envelopes to put the ballots in. We had plenty of ballots, but we did not have the privacy envelopes.
Inspector Nancy Christmas has worked the polls for 20 years. She says this is the largest turnout she's seen. A steady stream of voters kept workers busy at Lafayette Head Start.
We've had lines. We've been really busy, and there's a small space here, and we've had lots of people lined up, and we have 3 precincts voting, so we've kind of had to steer them in the right direction.
Some people waited in line for 45 minutes to cast a ballot at Waterford Court Apartments.
We did call downtown and ask for some more voting booths, machines, and they said that that was impossible to bring out at this time and at that time. And they said that all of the precincts were having backup problems, and that this was common of every precinct in Tippecanoe County. And I think another part of the problem is people are spending a lot of time in the booth.
People may be spending more time filling out the ballot, indicating they're looking at each race carefully and splitting their ticket.
I mixed them up all over the board. I vote for the person more than the party, and this race, I think more than ever, I probably voted split the ticket more than I ever have in the past.
And this year's ballot was a little more complicated than some in the previous years, you know, with questions about retaining judges and the 2 referendum at the end of the ballot. Now joining me now live, Tippecanoe County Clerk Sarah Brown. Tell us, how was turnout today?
It was heavier than what we had expected.
We don't know yet, you know, to what degree, but we did have to run some extra ballots out to the precincts.
Can you compare this to previous presidential elections?
I think it's about the same as it was 4 years ago.
Now, I understand the Motor Voter Act may have some impact on the numbers. Can you explain that?
Well, it will so much as they will have a lower percentage because we haven't been able to purge the files for the last, well, since it has been enacted. And so therefore, the number of voters are up, and if the number of voters turned out are the same, we're going to have a lower percentage.
All right, thank you, Sarah Brown. It won't be long before we'll have some results here at the Tippecanoe County Courthouse. We'll be talking to the candidates and bringing you those results throughout the evening here on Lafayette Live, TV 18. Now back to you.
Thank you, Sue. At the courthouse. One of the important numbers in this night of percentages and statistics is the number of people who went to the polls. And while the percentage of people who vote is never real high, it is often lowest for younger voters. But as Jam Sardar tells us, students today could be found in two places, the classroom and the polling place.
Students at Purdue University seem to be taking issue with conventional wisdom that they don't know, don't care, and don't vote. At McCutcheon Hall this afternoon, voter turnout was already 4 times the 1992 total. The election inspector, himself a first-time voter, says he's seeing students eager to make their voice heard.
They've been like, you know, they come in with smiles on their faces because they're, you know, first times voting, so they feel it's exciting. Yeah. And I did too when I first voted yesterday.
Many of the largely student precincts say turnout has been average to high. A random sample of people on the Purdue campus this afternoon told us that most have already voted or were on their way to the polls. And many students chose to vote absentee in their hometowns.
No, I didn't vote today. I voted about a month ago, or whenever the first absentee voting could be opened.
We finally came across a couple of people who won't be casting their ballots today. One person says he's upset because he wanted to vote, but he missed the registration deadline.
I'm a little disappointed because actually I'm old enough. I have actually voted in previous presidential elections, so yeah, it was kind of a faux pas on my part.
Jeanette Dido is also feeling a little down. Too busy to watch TV or read the paper, she says she won't be taking part in this election.
I don't feel like I have enough information about the candidates to make a decision.
But while final numbers won't be in until tonight, it looks like a growing number of students are doing what they can to change that conventional wisdom. Jam Sardar, TV 18 News.
There were 3 robberies this morning. 2 of them were armed robberies. The most recent occurred at CR Services at 322 Brown Street in Lafayette. Police say 2 female workers were at their desks when a man in a blue ski mask and green army jacket entered, pulled a gun, and demanded money. Cash register, money drawer, and safe were all emptied. Police say the man was tall with a slim build, and the females believed him to be black. Police are investigating to see if this robbery is directly related to 2 others, which occurred this morning. At 4:40 a.m., police say a newspaper delivery woman was robbed at gunpoint in West Lafayette by a man wearing a ski mask and black trench coat. And just before 8 a.m., police say a woman's purse was grabbed on the 200 block of South 5th Street by a black male in a red jacket and stocking cap. No one was injured in the robberies, and both Lafayette and West Lafayette police are continuing the investigation.
Chris Morisse is covering the governor's race in Indianapolis, and we'll hear from her coming up.
And next, some of what was said to convince the Lafayette City Council not to change the Human Relations Ordinance.
Five years ago, Wiley Embry was told he needed a new heart. So he went to some of the finest heart specialists in the country at IU Medical Center. There he received a heart transplant. And since his operation, Wiley hasn't slowed down one bit. In fact, this year, he carried the Olympic torch on its way to Atlanta. A moment he likes to relive again and again. Indiana University Medical Center, advancing medicine, enhancing lives.
What do you look for in a home equity loan? At NBD, you can look for no closing costs.
We can do that.
Loan amounts up to 100% of the equity in your home.
We can do that.
Apply over the phone.
We can do that. With credit approval within 24 hours.
Interest which may be tax deductible?
We can do that.
For a limited time, NBD will make your first interest payment up to $300. Call NBD today and apply by phone. Here you go.
We love children. That's why we have 3 foster kids besides our own. With a family this big, everybody helps and every penny counts. That's why I go to Meyer for Liquid Tide.
With more powerful stain fighters, Liquid Tide gets out many tough stains bargain brands can leave behind, and it helps keep cottons looking like new.
Oh, we tried the bargain brand once. I went right back to my Tide. On our family budget, the better clean is the best value.
Get new Liquid Tide
At Meyer.
Portions of Lafayette Live are sponsored by the Bob Rohrman Auto Dealerships.
Some were elated, others disappointed. But regardless of their stance on the issue, Lafayette's Human Relations Ordinance will remain on the books as is. As Brent Fraser reports, last night's grueling 3.5-hour argument was enough to sway 2 council votes.
You know that I'm outraged. I'm absolutely outraged.
Emotions last night ran high. I am heartbroken.
Think about what you're doing. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed that I have to thank God that my son wasn't a homosexual.
So there's something flawed in this particular ordinance.
One by one, people both for and against changing Lafayette's Human Relations Ordinance spoke their mind to city council members in 2 minutes. Those in the audience wore their feelings on their lapel.
I don't see evidence in my community of Lafayette that the gay and lesbian community is denied civil rights.
Councilor Jack Rhoda proposed pulling the words sexual orientation from the ordinance. He said the U.S. Constitution offers homosexuals and bisexuals adequate protection from discrimination.
I want on the record that I still object.
But not all of Rhoda's colleagues agreed. The council, like the community, stood divided on the issue.
This sure seems like this is gay rights.
A month ago, the council cast a 5-4 vote to remove the words sexual orientation. But last night, council members Dennis Probasco and Ron Alting changed their minds and voted to leave the ordinance as is.
You all ask us to look into our hearts for compassion, to look into our hearts, to not be judgmental, to not pass some point of view based on some moralistic or biblical writings.
Probasco and Alting say removing the language would send the wrong message.
I did not want to be a part of something that down the line someone could say this signature was on something that voted in favor of costing the city $500,000, $600,000.
Alting, Probasco, and some other council members feared amending the ordinance would result in costly legal battles and tarnish the reputation of the all-American city. In Lafayette, Brent Fraser, TV 18 News.
Last night, Jack Rhoda said he was disappointed that his proposal was voted down, but he says he has no hard feelings.
Angela Buchman has our weather forecast coming up next.
The Dow Jones Industrials gained 40.
Your Indiana Ford dealers have just put a new spin on driving a 97 Ford Taurus. Now you can lease one for just $259 a month for 24 months. That's just $259 a month to drive the best-selling car in America, Ford Taurus. With more style, room, comfort, and convenience than ever before. Just $259 a month to lease a new Ford Taurus. It's a new spin on Taurus without a big twist on your wallet. Your Indiana Ford dealers are one.
Discover the excitement of building today with TK Constructors. We give you all the amenities you could ask for in a new home. A home that's conventionally built on your lot for as little as $54,900, including features like Anderson windows. Anderson quality is renowned in the industry. We put that quality directly into your home. So find out what all the excitement is about. Call us at 1-800-TK-TK-FYI.
The excitement is building at TK Constructors now.
That's it. I've had my last bowl.
Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, too irresistible for adults.
From now on, I'm pouring the milk right into the box.
There's no denying it. Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great.
Meineke keeps cars of all ages running like new. Mufflers, brakes, shocks, and struts. High-quality parts and service at a reasonable price. Too bad they can't do anything about this 1949 classic.
At Meineke, you're not going to pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
I guarantee it.
Closed captioning for Lafayette Live is brought to you by Sagamore Heating and Cooling.
Well, I assumed you have voted today, so you've probably done the two things that you're responsible for. You got nice weather and
Sure.
cast your ballot.
I helped out a little bit, I think, in the weather department. Mostly, we remained dry. We had a few sprinkles this morning. Really, there's lots of rain in the forecast, and we'll show you when it will arrive in just a minute. Outside right now, cloudy skies, but very comfortable temperatures. In fact, we're still at 61 degrees. The relative humidity is also on the increase. That also is thanks to southerly flow, 63%. Winds are from the south at 8. Barometer rising and a trace of a little bit of rain very early this morning. High temperature, the current one of 61. Our low this morning dropped down to 46. The record low of 15 was set back in 1951. Sunrise tomorrow morning at 7:23 and sunset at 5:39. We had quite a bit of clouds overhead for Election Day today, and the clouds continue across most of the viewing area right now, especially over the northern half of the state. The clouds are beginning to actually break up just a little bit. They've had clear skies and sunshine over the southern half of the state this afternoon, and that's the reason Evansville hit an afternoon high of 68 degrees. We're actually going to be in store for some warmer temperatures starting tomorrow. But there's not a lot of sunshine in the forecast, at least over the next 36 hours. The clouds are still building off to our northwest. They're associated with an area of low pressure that we have developing over western Nebraska. That low is producing some rain and some snow. It's falling as rain over the Dakotas and snow over western parts of Colorado. No rain in our forecast for tonight, but very mild temperatures. We'll have partly cloudy skies as the clouds continue to thin and break apart. In the forecast, we're calling for 52 degrees. For tomorrow, very warm day in store for us. We have 68 for the afternoon high. We'll see some sunshine, some clouds, and a chance for some thunderstorms, especially by late afternoon. Tomorrow night, thunderstorms are likely across the area as we drop down to 53 degrees. Thunderstorm activity is thanks to a cold front that will eventually bring us some cooler temperatures starting on Thursday. We'll see an afternoon high of 56 on Thursday with some rain, especially through the morning hours. Back into the 40s by Friday with our afternoon high of 47. 52 for Saturday and 50 on Sunday. With sunshine in the forecast, we could see an inch of rain over the next 36 hours.
Okay, thank you, Angela.
And the rumor mill is grinding away.
Yeah, absolutely. Speculation on Jim Coletto's successor. We'll talk about that. Also, Purdue names its Athletes of the Month. Just ahead.
Following is a paid announcement to the people of Northwest Indiana.
The Bob Roman dealerships are having the big sale.
What can folks save?
Up to $10,000.
How about financing?
As low as 0 APR.
But why so low key, Bob?
We don't want to scare the competition.
There's only one Bob Roman.
The big sale right now for a limited time at the Bob Roman dealerships, Sagamore Parkway, Lafayette.
Who makes the final decisions at your bank?
I don't know. Isn't he that guy that...
At Lafayette Bank and Trust, we make the decisions right here at home.
Imagine that.
Lafayette Bank and Trust.
The biggest little bank in...
Right here at home.
Honey, has it really been 8 years since Newtone first opened?
Wow, what memories that all brings back.
That's right. It's been 8 years, and we couldn't have done it without you, Lafayette. Thanks for letting us be a part of your lives, and we want to invite you to join us in creating the next 8 years of memories.
And you know, Michelin, it's been great sharing the benefits of a healthier lifestyle with the members at Newtone Health and Fitness.
Visit us on the World Wide Web at qklink.com.
Lafayette Live TV 18 News keeps you informed like no one else. We have 5 #1 rated weekday newscasts to stay on top of the day's events. Lafayette Live this morning at noon, 5, 6, and 11. All of them give you the best news you can get anywhere. Our reporters know where to get the news you need to know, and they have the experience to get stories that affect you. We're your home team 5 times a day on Lafayette Live TV 18 News.
Portions of Lafayette Live are sponsored by NBD.
Hi, everyone. Well, as Jim Coletto and the Boilermakers prepare for Saturday's game with Michigan, talk around town centers on who will replace Coletto at season's end. Will Purdue Athletic Director Morgan Burke open up the purse strings and go after a big name like former Oklahoma, Louisville, and Miami coach Howard Schnellenberger? Or will the focus shift to a coordinator from a big and successful program like Auburn offensive coordinator Tommy Bowden, or Lou Holtz's right-hand men offensive coordinator Dave Roberts, or defensive coordinator Bob Davie? At his weekly teleconference, we asked Jim Coletto what direction the university should take.
There are a lot of good coaches. I talked with Terry Donahue this morning, and he said one thing that I think, and it's really true, and we all know this in this business, aside from maybe one or two guys in this whole country, there are a lot of good coaches. You become great coaches with great players. And so you need to, that's the kicker. You need a guy that's a solid coach, that knows the game, that can teach the players to play hard, and has some luck and good fortune in recruiting, and pick some guys that are going to help move the program along.
I think you got to keep it open at this juncture. I think you got to take a look at the candidates, the fit. I'm not going to get into looking at just people's records, because I think the intangibles of what they bring to the program sometimes are more important than statistics themselves. So I won't discount head coach, won't discount assistant coach, but it's going to be the right person who can take the foundation that Jim has built and allow us to move forward.
Burke says he'll look outside the existing staff to find a new coach. Coletto doesn't believe it's important to bring in a coach with Purdue ties, like Wyoming head coach Joe Tiller or Michigan offensive coordinator Fred Jackson, for example. He says experience with the Big Ten would be a help, but from place to place, college football doesn't change much. Coletto would like to see someone in place by early December, so recruiting won't suffer much. Purdue's Athletes of the Month have been selected for October. The awards are sponsored by WLFI, Twin City Dodge Chrysler Plymouth, and the Gimlet Leadership Honorary. Mary Beth Maggard is the Female Athlete of the Month. The junior from Spring, Texas, distinguished herself at the ITA All-American Qualifying Tournament in California, winning an unprecedented 4 matches in the field, comprised mostly of NCAA qualifiers. And Purdue's Male Athlete for October, defensive back Jamel Coleman, the junior from Indianapolis, had a team-high 4 interceptions in the month, including 3 in a loss at Penn State on October the 12th. 3 thefts against the Nittany Lions were 1 short of the single-game school record set by Paul Berry against Wisconsin in '76. Baseball's free agent list continues to grow this offseason. Among the latest to file for free agency, Boston Red Sox right-hander Roger Clemens, a 3-time American League Cy Young Award winner. 15 names are under consideration for election to the Basketball Hall of Fame. Nominees were announced today, and voting results will be announced in February. The list of nominees includes Alex English and Sidney Moncrief, as well as coaches Alex Hannum, Jerry Tarkanian, John Thompson, and Don Haskins. And that's it in sports.
Thanks, Rex. And we'll take a look at the governor's race when we come back.
Have a Kitchen Jewel's dream kitchen just like mine for a lot less than you think. Plus the countertops, wall covering, hardwood, and vinyl flooring. Deno Decorating's experienced designers can also find you that perfect combination of carpet, paint, and beautiful window treatments for any room of your home. And if you're doing the bathroom, we also have a large selection of vanities and bathroom fixtures. Visit us today at Deno Decorating Center on North 9th Street in Lafayette or downtown Fowler.
Quality done by Deno.
Honey, are you okay? You seem a little uptight.
It's the mortgage approval. What's taking so long?
Do you mind? What? You know, NBD could have approved your mortgage on the spot.
While I wait, they can do that?
Sure. It's called Rapid Reply Mortgage Approval, and it's only at NBD.
Hey, buddy, tell me about this Rapid Reply. When we go to the...
NBD, we can do that.
Idiots! You have failed me.
Wasn't our fault.
Had a Subaru Outback.
Outback?
Got better gas mileage than our Cherokee. Held a turn tighter than our Blazer.
Brake better than our Explorer.
Silence, fools. Just tell me what you need to catch him.
Our own Outback would be nice.
With a CD player and leather.
Subaru Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
The nanny takes it on the chin with...
Say, wow! How did you get your hair so big?
And are there wedding bells on Pearl?
Professor Pinchon and I are engaged.
I'm calling the paramedics, Mrs. Geraldo. I want them to take one of us away.
Then, on Almost Perfect, Rhea Perlman drops in.
True. Rhea, you don't understand. He wants more from me than I'm prepared to give. From what I hear, that's a rule you ought to follow in general.
All new comedy, CBS Wednesday.
One of the close races involves the candidates for governor of Indiana. Governor Bai couldn't run again, and both the major party candidates who want to succeed him have years of experience in public office.
And they're also both waiting it out in Indianapolis, and that's where our reporter Chris Morisse has a patch of ground staked out. Chris, tell us about it.
I'm here at the Westin Hotel where Indiana Republicans are getting ready to party and await the election returns. Now, earlier today, both the Republican and Democratic candidates for governor were out at the polls. Steve Goldsmith cast his ballot at around 6:30 this morning, and the race is so close, he says he's not going to make predictions.
Our numbers reflect that we have a okay lead going into today. But in the end, it's very difficult to predict. There's a great intensity in the vote turnout effort, and it's very important that people who agree with our position about lowering taxes turn out to vote, because if they don't, the election could be decided the other way.
I'm at about 170. You got about 150 of them.
Is that right? Good.
That's all right, isn't it?
Democrat Governor candidate Frank O'Bannon got some encouraging news about the vote at a precinct on the north side of Indianapolis. The longtime state senator and current lieutenant governor says he's worked long and hard to reach this point.
It's a hard fight. I look forward to another win because I've never lost.
I'm told that both governor candidates are tucked away, and they'll stay tucked away until later this evening when the results seem apparent that the race is going one way or another. Then they'll both emerge to make statements. And Heather Ritchie and I will be here in Indianapolis tonight. We'll be covering both candidates, and we'll bring you their thoughts as the races develop.
Okay, we'll look forward to that, and an interesting night of vote counting here, not only in Lafayette, but also at in Indianapolis, where the candidates for governor are hanging out. Thanks, Chris Morisse.
Thanks, Chris. The class of first graders at the Oakland Elementary School turned into birds today, flapping their wings and learning to fly. This group of children is also learning how to communicate. Reed Steele works as the mime in residence at the school. He says nonverbal communication helps build self-esteem, and teaching kids at an early age will instill knowledge that will last a lifetime.
And if you're left behind in first grade, as you probably know, you have some real troubles as you get older, get into high school and college. It's more difficult to get through life. So if you can communicate in other ways or get your ideas across in other ways, it's a lot better for you and for the people around you.
The program is particularly helpful for kids with communication disorders. About 60 students will put their skills to use in a hurry. They're staging a show for their parents tomorrow morning.
The CBS Evening News is next. We'll bring you election coverage throughout the night. So long, everybody.
See you at 11.